Hello, my name's Taylor.
And my name's Ashley.
And we're going to tell y'all a little bit about a Middle Eastern country, Qatar. Do you have any idea where Qatar is? Because I was completely clueless as to its whereabouts before beginning our research. In this lecture, we're going to discuss not only the location of Qatar, but also the country's expanding and developing economy and petroleum industry. We're going to explore Qatar's history with the petroleum industry, the importance of natural gas, specifically liquefied natural gas, production, consumption, imports and exports, refineries, a multitude of expansion plans and projects, and environment protection. To finally answer my original question, Qatar is a tiny country located on the eastern shore of Saudi Arabia in the Persian Gulf. Oil was first discovered in the 1930s, followed by liquefied natural gas in 1977. The petroleum industry in Qatar has expanded rapidly since its relatively recent discovery, leading it to become the third largest natural gas reservoir in the world, behind Russia and Iran, as seen in the bar graph on the slide. Qatar has also become the largest world exporter in liquefied natural gas and the second smallest crude oil producer in the Organization of Oil Exporting Countries. The company Qatar Petroleum was founded in 1974 and now owns and operates about half of all onshore and the majority of offshore fields, as seen in the shareholders pie chart pictured. Qatar Petroleum has also been increasing foreign partnerships and leasing fields to international oil companies, specifically Asian companies and markets. Due to our poor economy and low oil prices, the U.S. is not viewed as a profitable partnership. These international partnerships have helped increase the country's overall revenue. Currently, 60% of Qatar's GDP comes from mainly gas, but also oil revenues. As a result, the Qatari government has started devoting more resources and money towards the development of natural gas, specifically liquefied natural gas. Currently, Qatar holds approximately 14% of the world's natural gas reserves, which is a relatively large percent considering the size of the country compared to other big petroleum countries in the world. This can be observed in the 2011 World Natural Gas Reserve pie chart pictured. In comparing the 1995 and 2011 data, Qatar's rapid expansion and development can be observed, seeing as it's jumped from 6 to 14%. Qatar contains on- and offshore natural gas fields. However, recently, more attention has been given to the offshore fields, specifically the North Field, which happens to be the world's largest non-associated natural gas field. Currently, the field is about the size of the country itself. However, the Qatari government is hoping to expand this field in the future. The size comparison of the massive North Gas Field can be seen in the colorful map shown. The green regions represent oil fields. You can see here the Al Shaheen Field, which is the largest offshore oil field, and is currently being expanded. More attention is being given to these offshore fields because they're thought to have greater production potential. Onshore, we have the Duqin Field, which is the largest onshore oil field and is decreasing in production rates. Besides the actual petroleum fields themselves, there are several other sectors that all constitute to be major factors in the industry, one of those being production. Qatar Petroleum conducts all upstream and downstream projects. In other words, they're in charge of all exploration and production, as well as the selling and distribution of all oil and gas resources. Qatar is also one of 3 countries to have gas-to-liquid technology facilities, which has become a prominent tool in the petroleum industry. Gas-to-liquid is a refining process that turns natural gas into liquid fuels, such as low-sulfur diesel and naphtha. This has also assisted Qatar Petroleum in further expanding and developing their natural gas sector through large-scale projects, most of them specified for liquefied natural gas exports. One of the ways they do this is by branching out and pairing up with a larger, more experienced international company who knows how to complete these types of massive projects. Due to success of these large-scale projects, Qatar's petroleum has increased exponentially in the past decade or so, as seen in the line graph shown. You can see that over time, the net export has become larger and larger. In 2009, Qatar produced 1,213,000 barrels of oil per day and 3,154 billion cubic feet of natural gas. Overall, Qatar's rapidly expanding economy has led to its equally rapid increase in oil and natural gas production. Consumption is another big sector in the petroleum industry, especially for a developing country like Qatar. Natural gas consumption is the majority of the country's total energy consumption, making up about 75%, whereas oil is only 25%, as seen in the pie chart pictured. Qatar consumed approximately 147,000 barrels of petroleum per day in 2009. 129,000 barrels per day of that was oil, and 745 billion cubic feet was natural gas. Although relatively small compared to production levels, the country's total oil and gas consumption has surpassed 3 times the amount in 2000, as observed in the graph below. Additionally, there is currently no coal consumption due to the absence of a railroad system. However, Qatar has recently invested in a $25 billion project with a German company to develop an extensive railroad system throughout the country over the next 15 years. It will connect the whole country, increasing public transportation opportunities and Qatar's overall revenue. An example of what the high-speed trains will look like is pictured, along with other various types of transportation and expansion. They're also looking to upgrade their international airport as well as major road and highway systems, such as the Salwa International Highway, which will be the largest causeway in the world once construction is finished. Qatar also consumes approximately 18.8 billion kilowatt hours of electricity. Its energy consumption is also on the rise due to the expanding means of transportation. To put this in perspective, the U.S. consumed approximately 4,151 billion kilowatts per hour in 2010. Despite Qatar's small size, its economy and production levels are increasing rapidly and taking on a more well-known public role in the world. According to Facts Global Energy, Qatar's oil consumption is projected to grow annually 5% between 2010 and 2015. Qatar's investments in expanding their transportation and energy sector only further demonstrates how rapidly they're developing. Qatar's growing role in the world's petroleum industry, specifically consumption, can be observed in the world map pictured. It's small in comparison to the top consumers like China and the US, but Qatar currently has the world's highest GDP per capita. Even though it has a small population, its growing economy and petroleum revenue are opening up countless doors.
Qatar is one of the smallest countries in the world and is surprisingly the second richest country in the world. The success of Qatar's economy is entirely due to their natural gas industry. In the past decade, Qatar's natural gas industry has grown exponentially in exports and in expansion and improvement projects. I will go into depth about these two major aspects of Qatar's natural gas industry in the second half of this presentation. Once Qatar's oil industry began declining, their gas industry was created and grew exponentially. As one of the 3 countries in the world to have a gas-to-liquids facility, Qatar's liquefied natural gas industry boomed. In the past 5 years, Qatar has been able to double the number of countries they export liquefied gas to, and within this 2-year time span, Qatar was also able to increase their amount of exports by 60.2%. Qatar has become self-sufficient in using their own liquefied natural gas resources to power and run their country. Japan, United Arab Emirates, and Oman are Qatar's top exporters, while Canada, Chile, and the United States are their smallest exporters. Qatar chooses not to export as many barrels of gas to the United States because our gas prices are so low due to the recent increase of shale production. Qatar's exports are worth about $57.82 billion US dollars, while the cost of their imports are only about $23.38 billion US dollars. The success of their large exports has helped the economy grow, but improvements in their technology and facilities have also greatly attributed to their successful industry. Currently in Qatar, there is a hold on all drilling and production in the North Field that wasn't already under construction or already producing. The North Field is one of the largest natural gas reservoirs and, as mentioned before, is almost equivalent to the size of Qatar. Before the hold was placed, the expansion of the Umsaid refinery, which processes the majority of the North Field's natural gas, resulted in a dramatic increase in production and profit. Many more projects looking for the same type of profit result are now awaiting approval from the Qatari government. However, Qatari officials have reported the hold will stay on the North Field for a couple more years because they are worried they are exhausting their natural resources too quickly. One project that helps sway the Qatari economy back towards their oil industry is the Pearl Gas to Liquids project. Royal Dutch Shell is footing the entire $20 billion bill in hopes that the Qatari government will allow them to build a facility in their country that converts the liquefied natural gas into petroleum fluids. Once construction of this facility is completed, it is expected to have a massive profit margin. Other projects that have already been implemented are focusing on becoming more environmentally friendly. Qatar is currently using the world's most advanced and environment-friendly equipment in operation to handle all of the solid and liquid waste that is a result of refining and drilling natural gas and oil. Since the improvements, the quality of air has improved. Many projects have yet to receive approval because they have the potential to damage the Qatari environment. Qatar has become very environmentally mindful after they nearly ran their oil fields dry in the 1960s and 70s. Overall, Qatar spent 35 years to build their natural gas industry. As a result, Qatar is one of the most successful countries in history. The rapid growth the country experienced in wealth, technology, education, and quality life is all due to the government's emphasis on the gas industry. Everyone should go see the success of Qatar by attending the 2022 FIFA World Cup hosted by Qatar.